Everyone is welcome. We will all be free. Welcome, I say welcome. You are
welcome. These are the values that we hold to in Contra Costa County. This is why we're here today. This is why we're here in front of Contra Costa County Sheriff Livingston's office. That we are outraged that he and his office and the California Sheriff's Association have endorsed the confirmation of Attorney General Jeff Sessions to have advanced bigoted and xenophobic policies. We are outraged that Sheriff Livingston met with Jeff Sessions in February and did not mention how the Attorney General's values do not match the values of here in California and here in Contra Costa County.
Yes, you know it.
We are outraged that Sheriff Livingston's defense of and alignment with the Trump agenda to institute a system of mass deportation. That already we've seen 32% increase in detentions, a higher rate of those with no prior offenses, and a detained population that used to be 34,000 per night is now at 40,000 per night across the country. We are here because we consider what Sheriff Livingston is doing a serious threat to our public safety.
Yes.
Let me remind you that engaging in a system of mass deportation and mass incarceration are threats to the public safety of the 1.1 million residents of Contra Costa County. They're threats to the security and unity of the 1 in 4 residents of this county who are not yet citizens, whose personal liberty, whose due process, and their access to basic rights would be severely compromised. They're threats to the children of Contra Costa County, 50% of children who have one immigrant parent. The children, many who are citizens, who are future workers, future PTA members, future voters in the county, who are not going to school or who are unable to concentrate on their studies because they're worried that their parents won't come home at night. When Sheriff Livingston lines up local resources, offices to be potential portals into ICE deportation that is racially unfair, it is a threat to public safety. So today we're here to say that Sheriff Livingston is a threat to public safety. Say that with me again.
Sheriff
Livingston is a threat to public safety. When he gives ICE information about people's addresses, release date times, allowing ICE agents into the jail, even when they're just suspects, even when they're pre-trial, even when they finish their sentences and paid their debt to society, even when their charges have been dropped, Sheriff Livingston is a threat to public safety. Trump's deportation agenda doesn't just target undocumented people, but asylum seekers who are detained increasingly, indefinitely inside West County Detention Facility without parole. Also, long-term residents, mixed status families, legal permanent residents who are threatened with deportation, and it threatens businesses and homeowners who are dependent on the economic labor of immigrants in this county. Since 2011, Sheriff Livingston has deported 1,971 Contra Costa County residents. He has helped ICE to deport almost 2,000 Contra Costa County residents, facilitated. And what hurts any one of us, of course, hurts the whole community. It hurts our economy, it hurts our sense of safety, our school system, our health system. It means people losing their homes. I want to just share a story of a family that is being accompanied by B'nai Tikva congregation here that is about to lose their home. A mother and a child with a 4-year-old child who is they're about to lose their home because the father, they've been here for 15 years, and was picked up and is now being held in ICE detention in West County Detention Facility. So Sheriff Livingston's ICE collaboration policies are a threat to public safety, and he's vigorously used the financial power and the threat of the California Sheriff's Association to try to defeat SB 54. Well, we're here today to say that we don't need any more deportation agents in Contra Costa County.
Yes!
We don't need any more of our county resources and staff to aid and amplify rogue and untrustworthy ICE deportation policies. Sheriff Livingston is
A
a
threat.
threat to public safety. Let me tell you the second reason why. When he continues to try to expand jails and throw away more money to lock 'em up solutions that do not address root causes, he continues to undermine public safety. He tried 2 previous times to expand the jail, which there was a resounding no to, and now he snuck in a 3rd time despite the community saying that we do not want another jail expansion. Where are the new programs to create alternatives to incarceration, especially for those related to substance abuse and mental health through community-based health and social services? Adding more jail beds traps people in an endless cycle of incarceration and poverty. We need reform, not more jail beds.
Yes, we need reform.
And so this is why we say that Sheriff Livingston is a threat to public safety. The third reason why we're here is because of the gross profiteering off mass detention and mass incarceration. He boasts millions of dollars from ICE, detaining people day after day, people who are not a danger to society, in terrible conditions, terrible food, terrible lack of medical attention, excessive and exploitive phone calls, women who are on lockdown 23 hours a day, and he wants millions more to expand, 25 million more from Contra Costa County taxpayers for jail expansion and $5 million a year to maintain it from now until perpetuity. This is a jail where 73% are there who are pre-trial because they can't afford bond. They shouldn't even be detained. So who is a threat to public safety?
Sheriff Livingston.
Based on an interview he gave on KQED last week, he is not listening, which is why we have this empty chair.
Empty throne.
Empty throne. He is acting like a king.
Yeah, boo.
Not an elected leader in a democracy. He is someone who we expect to be responsive. It is a real problem when the law enforcement, the head of law enforcement in the county is a
Threat to public safety.
The empty chair symbolizes that our elected sheriff is not my sheriff, not our sheriff, and he's deaf to understanding the real concerns of the county. Last week, on that interview, he dismissed opposition to the jail expansion, opposition to disentangling ICE. He said that it was merely a small fringe of special interest groups in the county.
Boo!
Today, more than at any other time in Contra Costa's history, there are more groups fighting the jail and fighting ICE entanglement. There are many more groups whose names we can't even name them all, who are now coming together to organize against this. So we are not some small special interest group. We are special. We are interested, we are interesting, and we are interested. And we are interested in ending ICE entanglement and real criminal justice reform. So when you have a sheriff in town who's a threat to public safety, we have a serious problem. And we have to raise some serious questions. So that is why we are here today, to raise some serious questions and public concerns about this sheriff. We're here today, and we're also in front, colleagues of ours are in front of the LA County Sheriff at this very moment, holding a similar action, asking that sheriff questions also. So it is time for us to demand accountability and transparency for Sheriff Livingston.
Yes.
So I'd like to invite members of the community who are here today representing different organizations. If you'd like to come up and stand in this special spot here and take the microphone, you can identify yourself, the part of the county that you're from, your organization or your community, and direct your question to the empty throne. We are videotaping this, and this videotape will be sent to the sheriff's office, and we do expect some public answers to these questions at this time. So we have a little song maybe just to set the mood, and And then maybe we'll just move around the circle like that. And you'd like to come forward with your questions.
We need to remember that people are asking for help. We need to remember that we're here to share that cry for help with the community and out loud to the sheriff and all those that are participating in processes against justice. Sometimes songs that we know and love can help us do that in a special way. When I was younger, so much younger than today, I never needed anybody's help in any way. But now those days are gone, I'm not so self-assured. Now I find the key for mine and open up the door. Help me if we can, I'm feeling down. And I do appreciate you being around. Help me get my feet back on the ground. Won't you please help me? And now my life is changing for so many ways. My independence seems to vanish in the haze. But every now and then, I know that I see the light I've never done before. Everybody, help me if you can. I'm feeling down, and I do appreciate you being around. Help me get my feet back on the ground. Won't you please help me? Help me, help me.
So I'd like to invite the first person, maybe Dan?
Sure.
Stand right here.
Well, Sheriff, you won't be with us. We're coming anyway. That's better? Okay. My name is Dan Safran. I live in Pleasantville, California. I'm representing myself, but I also am a member of OFA and Indivisible and the Alliance, and I attend MICA meetings with all these wonderful people. I have a difficult question to ask you, which is, what protocols are in place to assure protection and support for the families who are split up as a result of detention or deportation? Do you care about that? Do you have any program available when you detain somebody and the family is left without a breadwinner or without a parent? What do you do about that? That's my question for you, Sheriff.
We're listening, Sheriff Livingston. No answer.
Hi, Sheriff. Good afternoon. My name is Lupe Alanis. I represent the coalition MICA, and I'm also a member of the Monument Corridor community, and also here representing Monument Impact. And my question to you, like I said, I live in the Monument, and I have neighbors that are fearful because of all the tactics that ICE and the police have been using in our communities. And my question specifically to you is, I have a neighbor that's been here for 25 years and has a parking ticket, a simple parking ticket, and my question to you is, would you deport him for a parking ticket?
Wow.
Whoa, we're listening.
Good afternoon, Sheriff. My name is Joan Weinstein, and I am a member of MICA, and I live in Walnut Creek. So as a member of the Jewish community, I know that I would not be here, and many of our families would not be here if people of conscience hadn't stepped forward to help families escape oppression and certain slaughter. As a person of conscience, Sheriff, do you believe that although we really should all be law-abiding citizens, that there are times like this that we need to heed the call from a higher moral authority and follow our conscience and higher laws? Where do you stand, and who do you stand with?
Hi, my name is Cece Lisa. I am an organizer with California Immigrant Policy Center. My question is about the custody alternative program that you run. You agree to have folks, including immigrants, participate in the custody alternative program, and yet when they try to comply with the requirements of the program, they're instead punished solely based on the location that they're born. The Sheriff Custody Alternatives Program has set up false stings to criminalize our immigrant community members who are trying to do the right thing and meeting the requirements of the program. So my question for you is, why do you insist on continuing to punish over and over again our community members who are immigrants and people of color?
Whoa! Woohoo! Answer!
Hello, Sheriff. My name is Vince Nims. I live in the Concord community. I am a musician, an inspirational speaker. I'm a faith-based educator. I'm a recording artist. But most importantly, Sheriff, I'm a daddy. And for the life of me, sir, I cannot fathom how children are living without their parents or in fear of losing them. I want to know what you will do to protect the children of our communities and put that as one of the most important priorities of any initiatives in which you participate. Thank you.
Hello, Sheriff. I'm Christy Laughlin, and I'm with eBase. And we've been working with low-income folks and immigrants in the Concord area. And I want to share with you that my dad was retired law enforcement, and I have deep respect for public servants and people who are entrusted with the public good. And yet, I need to ask you now, how do you reconcile your trust with the public and public good with participating with the rogue agency of ICE, whose sole mission is to capture, detain, deport? And I'm wondering, don't you feel some conflict with what your original mission is as being a public servant? And I just want to ask, can you, in this time, actually hold to what your original mission is and divorce yourself from cooperating and getting entangled with ICE that does nothing to serve the public good or build public trust? And I ask you as a man of faith and a moral person to use your moral leadership, and can you, in this moment, go deep in your heart and back to your core mission and decide with the people of Contra Costa County to no longer participate in the deportation machine in Contra Costa?
Speak your heart. Nothing
Hello, Sheriff. My name is Suzanne Llewellyn, and I am a leader of an immigration task force in my church in Walnut Creek, and have spent a year visiting immigrants in detention in your jail. And I saw civil rights abuses, human rights abuses, which I suspect you're somewhat unaware of. One instance, one of the immigrants injured his knee working in the kitchen of the jail, and he was never given the medical treatment he needed. He was released eventually with this broken knee and no means to get it remedied. I visited a woman who had mental health issues, and she was put into solitary confinement for the week of Christmas. So I really do not understand why you would want to participate in holding immigrants in our jail side by side with everybody else and yet used as the slave labor for the entire institution because they're so reliable and so responsible that they can be counted on. So I ask you, please, reach into your heart and ask yourself, if one of your family members was at risk of being deported, what would you do? Would you want people like us to stand up for you and ask that the public trust be restored? Or would you just let go of a family member and say, well, law and order is more important than family relationships? So please, I ask you to listen to your constituents and understand where they're coming from and respond to their request rather than trying to impose a law and order agenda on us. Please, we are your constituents. Listen to us. Thank you very much.
My name is Deborah Bernstein, Sheriff Livingston. Thank you for this opportunity to talk with you, at least in spirit anyway. I represent a special interest group. It's the 40,000 residents of the Monument Corridor. Folks who are documented, undocumented, in mixed status families. I have known teenagers who have had a parent deported and have had to take on the responsibility of raising their younger siblings. An 18-year-old having to raise a family. This community is beautiful. It's law-abiding. It believes in the law. What we don't believe in is money coming from the federal government to work with ICE to deport our community members. So my question to you is, wouldn't that money better serve folks coming out of the jail system into programs that will be productive, rehabilitate, and help folks re-enter rather than deport them? Thank you.
Sheriff Livingston, my name is Marcia Lieberson. I live in Walnut Creek, and I'm a social worker. And I know of my patients and members in this community who have dropped out of using services they desperately need. Health, medical health, physical health, mental health, many other social services that have been set up and paid by community and county dollars, because they are so fearful of being seen in the public with the possibility of being terrorized by ICE and therefore picked up by you. So are we not worsening the health of our community by continuing this action?
I have one last question, unless anyone else has a last question. Sheriff Livingston, I'm Reverend Deborah Lee, pastor in the United Church of Christ and member of a congregation in El Cerrito. And I just want to lift up a particular family that's on my heart today. And this is a family that's lived in Richmond for 22 years, the mother and the father and 5 children. The father was detained and deported. And it threw this mother of 5 into an economic tailspin. One of the 5 children has leukemia. And it wasn't long till she couldn't hang on to her home in Richmond anymore and reached out to us as members of the faith community to try to find a shelter. It was very difficult to find a shelter for a family of 5 in an economic emergency. So I just want to lift this up because I want you to know and to remember the huge economic and social cost of every single detention and deportation. Every single one affects a sphere of people in our community. And I want you to, and I wanted to ask you what happened, because several years ago I felt you were really understanding the heart of the immigrant, and I feel like something has turned and something has changed, and you have decided to align yourself with the most horrible policies of the Trump administration, in a context where most Republicans have said that we understood that we are in a situation where we need immigration reform. We haven't had immigration reform for 30 years. So many of the people who are being captured, like this father of this family, could have been on a pathway to legalization and citizenship if we had had immigration reform. And now we are indiscriminately talking about deporting anybody who comes into the hands of ICE, and that is what's happening. So this is why now, more than ever, we need you to disentangle from ICE completely and to get in line with the values of Contra Costa County, which is a very caring county. Get in line with the values of California, which has been the home of migrants for generations. California has been a sanctuary for mixed status families, mixed race families, for families of all stripes and religions forever. And so if you don't, and you keep acting like a king without any accountability, it is clear what's going to happen the next election.
That's right. Yes.
And we're asking you to be accountable to our immigrant communities and other communities who are affected by mass incarceration. So thank you very much. Are there any other questions? Well, we certainly hope to hear a response from Sheriff Livingston very, very soon. We hope that our voice and our message can get through, even though we're not bringing millions of dollars to his office, but we are bringing votes, and we are bringing a sense of moral conscience. And so we ask Sheriff Livingston to give the community a response that we deserve very, very soon.
Woo! Yay! We want to hear from you.
Yes, I want to thank
you for listening to us.
Yes, well, this was a strangely very intimate conversation that we were able to have. I guess we're not intimidated by the suits.
I just hope the empty chair does not reflect an empty heart.
Right.
Yes. Woo!
The empty chair does not reflect an empty heart. And we know that there's a heart. There's a heart and a brain and courage. Did you get that?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're going to skip down the yellow brick road.
The yellow brick road, the heart, the brain, and courage. And we're asking you to have all that. That we know that you can as a leader. So I want to thank everyone for coming. We have a closing song.